C'est quoi ce bruit?
Sûrement quelqu'un qui a fait tomber une clope, je vais voir.
We've got the cabin under control. It's 4 of us. We've got weapons and bombs. If you try anything, you will die.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. If you're a regular listener to the Radio 5 Live film review show I do with Simon Mayer, you know that last week Eddie Marsan was our guest. He was coming on to talk about Entebbe, which is a new film just coming out in UK cinemas, about a real-life event that happened in the mid-70s. That, of course, has been the subject of films before. When I was a teenager going to the cinema, at one point you had a choice of not one but 2 Entebbe movies at the same time. There were 2 films simultaneously in cinemas. One of them was Raid on Entebbe, the other one was Victory at Entebbe, and it was literally like one cinema chain was playing one film and the other cinema chain was playing the other film. I think all the good reviews were for Raid on Entebbe, but I went to see Victory at Entebbe. And I was talking to Eddie Marsan about, isn't it weird that suddenly you get this thing when 2 films about the same subject are in cinemas at the same time? But actually, looking back, it's not really that rare. I mean, yes, you get the historical cases. So, in 1992, we famously had 1492, the Ridley Scott film. Before that, rushed into cinemas to beat it was the Christopher Columbus movie. And then we also got Carry On Columbus. And the old joke was, you know, hey, Christopher Columbus movies, you wait 500 years and then 3 come at once. And then, of course, for everybody who remembers that period when Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was in cinemas with Kevin Costner, and that song was at #1 forever. Just before Prince of Thieves came into theatres, we had Robin Hood, a rival production with Patrick Bergin, a rubbish production. The general rule being that you get the rubbish one out of the way, and then you get the big one. And then, of course, there was the case we've talked about a lot about Toby Jones doing that brilliant performance as Truman Capote in Infamous, and discovering while they were making the movie that there was a rival production called Capote, which actually kind of went on to win Oscars. Then there are other cases in which you wonder how the synchronicity worked. I remember seeing Florence Foster Jenkins and being surprised by the fact that I'd actually seen a version of that story just a few months before in a French movie called Marguerite, which I really, really liked. It's a terrific film. It just happened to be coming out around the same time as Florence Foster Jenkins. Then, of course, recently, we've had this strange case with The Mercy, which was a BAFTA Awards contender. That story's been filmed before, but followed almost immediately by Crowhurst, which is a drama about exactly the same subject. There was a couple of movies suddenly back-to-back about Christine Chubbuck, one called Kate Plays Christine, followed by Christine with Rebecca Hall. It's really peculiar because you'd think that somehow planning would prevent it happening, but actually the more you look, the more common it is. I remember very clearly when Raid on Entebbe and Victory at Entebbe were competing, and as I said before, Raid on Entebbe got all the good reviews. I mean, neither of them got great reviews. I think they were both basically TV movies. But Victory at Entebbe was the one that everyone looked down on. It was the one everyone was sniffy about. The one I went to see, because Linda Blair was in it. You see, in my world, all roads really do lead to The Exorcist.